Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. Who are you right now? Are you the strongest, most unstoppable version of yourself? Or is there a weaker version of you that keeps whispering in your ear, telling you to play small, to stay comfortable, to avoid the hard things? See, that weak version of you, it's a liar. It tells you, take it easy. You don't need to push today. You can start tomorrow. But we both know what happens. You never start. You keep waiting. You keep making excuses. And before you know it, months and years go by and you're still in the same place. The first step to transformation is awareness, because you can't change what you don't recognize. Most people go through life feeling stuck, frustrated, or unfulfilled, but they never take the time to really ask themselves, why? They assume that's just how life is, that maybe they weren't born with the right skills, the right opportunities, or the right luck. But the truth is, it's not life that's holding them back, it's them. Every single day you have two voices inside you. One is the strong, unstoppable, disciplined version of you, the one who wakes up early, who takes action, who doesn't wait for motivation but creates it. The other. That's the weak, fearful, excuse-making version, the one who tells you to hit snooze, the one who keeps making excuses, the one who says it's okay, we'll start tomorrow. Here's the problem. Most people listen to that weaker voice without even realizing it. They've been conditioned for years to respond to fear, to avoid discomfort, to play it safe. And the more you listen to that voice, the more power it has over you. You wake up one day and you're not the person you thought you'd be. Your dreams feel distant. Your goals seem impossible. And you start to believe that this is just how life is supposed to be. But here's what you need to understand. That weak version of you is not real. It's just a collection of habits, patterns, and limiting beliefs that you've picked up over time. And just like any habit, just like any story, it can be rewritten. But you have to become aware of it first. Think about it. What are the thoughts that run through your head every single day? What are the patterns that keep showing up in your life? Maybe every time you try to start something new, that weak voice tells you you're not good enough, so you quit before you even try. Maybe you procrastinate and you convince yourself that you work better under pressure, when really you're just afraid to start. Maybe you say you want success, but deep down, you're terrified of what it might demand from you, so you sabotage yourself before you can ever get there. You need to call these patterns out. You need to be brutally honest with yourself. What is the weak version of you telling you? Where is it holding you back? If you don't identify the problem, you can't solve it. And once you recognize it, you have to take away its power. You do this by challenging every single limiting belief you've ever accepted as truth. If your mind tells you, I can't do this, you don't just accept it, you question it. Why do I believe that? Where did that thought come from? Who told me that? You start breaking down the lies you've been living with. And once you do that, you start to see the truth. That weak version of you was never in control. You were. And here's the most important thing. You have to separate yourself from that weak voice. It's not who you are. It's just a habit, an old identity, a version of you that no longer serves you. And the moment you see it for what it is, you can start making new choices. Instead of listening to that weak voice, you start feeding the strong one. You start proving to yourself little by little that you are more capable, more powerful, and more disciplined than you ever thought. But awareness is not a one-time thing. You don't just recognize your weak patterns once and expect them to disappear. No, this is a daily battle. Every single morning when you wake up, you have to make a decision. Who am I going to listen to today? The weak version or the strong one? And here's the truth. Whichever one you feed will grow. If you keep giving in to your doubts, your excuses, your fears, they will get stronger. But if you start acting in defiance of them, if you start making decisions based on who you want to become, not who you've been, then that weak version of you starts to shrink. It loses its grip on you. And before you know it, you don't even recognize that old self anymore. So today, I want you to commit to something. Become aware of the weak version of you. Call it out. Don't let it hide in the shadows anymore. If you don't like where you are right now, take a hard look in the mirror and recognize that it's not your circumstances, not your background, not the people around you that are holding you back. It's that weak version of you that you've been listening to for too long. And now it's time to kill it. You do that by making a decision that from this moment on, you will no longer negotiate with weakness. You will no longer entertain the excuses. You will no longer let the past dictate your future. Because you are in control. And the moment you truly understand that, the moment you truly take responsibility, is the moment you become unstoppable. This is your time. No more hesitation, no more waiting, no more weak version. It's time to step into the person you were meant to be. Your life is a direct reflection of the standards you set for yourself. The quality of your relationships, your health, your finances, your career, everything comes down to what you are willing to tolerate. If you accept excuses, you will live a life full of them. If you settle for mediocrity, that's exactly what you'll get. But if you demand excellence, if you refuse to accept anything less than the best from yourself, then your entire life will shift. Most people don't even realize that they've set their standards too low. They think they want success, happiness, and fulfillment, but their daily actions tell a different story. They say they want to be in great shape, but they allow themselves to skip workouts and eat whatever's convenient. They say they want financial freedom, but they tolerate bad spending habits, avoid learning about money, and stay in jobs that don't challenge them. They say they want a strong relationship, but they put in minimal effort and settle for poor communication. They tell themselves, I'm doing my best, but deep down they know that's a lie. They're doing what's comfortable. They're doing what's easy. They're doing what they've always done. The truth is, your standards determine your reality. If you want more, you have to expect more from yourself, from your actions, from the way you show up every single day. It's not about setting goals. It's about raising the baseline for what you will and will not accept in your life. People who achieve at the highest level don't just set goals, they set non-negotiables. They don't say, I'll try to work out 3 times a week. They say, I don't miss workouts no matter what. They don't say, I hope I can grow my income this year. They say, I will find a way to increase my value and earn more no matter what it takes. And it all comes down to identity. You are not what you say you want. You are what you repeatedly do. If you have low standards, you will always make excuses for why you haven't reached your goals. You'll say, I don't have time instead of making time. You'll say, I don't have the resources instead of finding a way. You'll say, I'll start tomorrow instead of starting right now. But when you raise your standards, everything changes. You stop tolerating procrastination. You stop entertaining doubt. You stop waiting for the perfect moment because you realize that the only way to create the life you want is to take massive action consistently without compromise. Think about the areas of your life where you feel stuck right now. Where are you falling short? Where are you not seeing the results you want? Now ask yourself, what are you tolerating? What have you been accepting as good enough when you know you're capable of more? Because the reality is, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you demand. And I don't mean demanding from other people, I mean demanding from yourself. Your standards have to be so high that they pull you toward greatness even when you don't feel like it. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your standards. That's why 2 people can have the same exact dream, but only one of them succeeds. The person who succeeds isn't necessarily more talented, more skilled, or more lucky. They just refuse to settle for anything less than making it happen. The most successful people in the world have trained themselves to operate at a higher level than everyone else. They don't just show up when it's convenient. They don't just put in effort when they feel motivated. They've wired their brains to expect greatness from themselves at all times. And because they expect it, they create it. So the question is, what are you going to start demanding from yourself? What are you no longer willing to tolerate? Because the moment you decide that certain things are beneath you, that you will no longer accept laziness, excuses, procrastination, or mediocrity, that's the moment everything shifts. You won't have to rely on motivation anymore because your standards will carry you through. You won't let temporary discomfort stop you because you'll know that greatness is on the other side. You won't wait for the perfect moment because you'll understand that the perfect moment is the one you decide to act. There's a reason why some people transform their lives while others stay stuck in the same cycle for years. It's not luck. It's not intelligence. It's not talent. It's standards. The ones who succeed have made a decision that they will no longer tolerate anything less than the best from themselves. They don't negotiate with their excuses. They don't entertain weakness. They don't lower their expectations to match their circumstances. They raise their efforts to match their vision. And that's exactly what you need to do. Take an honest look at your life right now. Identify the areas where you've been settling. Make the decision today. that you will no longer accept the version of yourself that plays small, that stays comfortable, that waits for permission. From this moment forward, your standards are set in stone. You are no longer someone who skips workouts. You are no longer someone who procrastinates. You are no longer someone who makes excuses. You are someone who demands more. And when you make that decision, when you truly commit to raising your standards in every area of your life, nothing can stop you. Because success isn't a secret. It's not something reserved for a select few. It's simply the result of consistently living up to the highest version of yourself every single day, no matter what. You don't think your way into a new life, you act your way into it. Too many people sit around waiting for the perfect moment, the right opportunity, or some magical burst of motivation that will finally get them moving. They read books, watch videos, attend seminars, and get inspired, but then what happens? Nothing. Because knowledge without action is useless. Inspiration without execution is wasted energy. If you want to change your life, if you want to become that strong, unstoppable version of yourself, there is only one way. You must take massive, relentless, and consistent action. Most people don't have a knowledge problem. They have an action problem. They know what they need to do. They know they should wake up earlier, work out, eat better, take risks, stop procrastinating, push harder. But instead of doing it, they hesitate. They overthink, they wait, they let fear creep in. And the more they hesitate, the more they convince themselves that maybe they're not ready yet, maybe they need more time, maybe they need to feel motivated first. That's a lie. You're not stuck because you don't know what to do. You're stuck because you're not doing what you already know. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay the same is simple. Successful people don't wait for the perfect moment. They act. They don't overthink every detail. They move. They don't rely on motivation. They create momentum. And that's what separates the strong version of you from the weak one. The weak version waits. The strong version takes action. Action is the great separator. It's what turns dreams into reality, ideas into impact, and goals into results. But the secret is, you don't have to feel ready to take action. You don't have to feel confident. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to move. Because the moment you take that first step, everything changes. Fear starts to fade. Doubt starts to weaken. Confidence starts to grow. Every time you push past hesitation, every time you step into discomfort, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than you thought. The biggest trap people fall into is thinking they need to feel motivated first. They wait for that moment when they feel like it, but that moment never comes. Or if it does, it fades quickly. Motivation is temporary. It's unreliable. If you rely on motivation, you'll always be inconsistent, and inconsistency kills progress. What you need is discipline. And discipline comes from taking action, whether you feel like it or not. You go to the gym when you don't feel like it. You work on your goals when you're tired. You show up every day no matter what. And the crazy thing is, the more action you take, the more motivation you create. It works in reverse. Most people think motivation leads to action, but in reality, action creates motivation. Think about a time in your life when you finally took action on something you had been putting off. Maybe it was a project, a fitness goal, a difficult conversation. Whatever it was, the hardest part was getting started. But once you did, you built momentum. You got into a rhythm. You started feeling good about the progress you were making. That's how it works with everything in life. The hardest step is always the first one, but once you take it, everything becomes easier. The key is to make action your default. Remove hesitation from your life. The moment you feel yourself stalling, move. The moment doubt creeps in, take action. If you wait, if you let that weak voice in your head convince you to stop, you give it power. But if you train yourself to act immediately, hesitation disappears. Action becomes who you are. And here's the best part, action compounds. The more you do, the more you build confidence. The more confidence you have, the more you push yourself. The more you push yourself, the stronger you become. It's a cycle that feeds itself. Small actions repeated consistently create massive results. Every workout adds up. Every productive hour compounds. Every time you push yourself past your limits, you grow. But none of this happens if you stay in your head. You have to move. You have to stop waiting. You have to stop hesitating. There is no perfect plan, no perfect time, no perfect opportunity. The only thing that matters is doing the work every day. No excuses. Right now, think about the one thing in your life that you've been avoiding. The one thing that you know will move you forward, but you keep putting it off. What if, instead of thinking about it, planning it, or waiting for the right time, you just took action today? What if in the next hour you did something, anything, that moved you one step closer. That's how you break through. That's how you kill that weak version of yourself. You stop thinking and you start doing. Your environment shapes you more than you realize. The people you surround yourself with, the conversations you have, the content you consume, the standards of those around you, all of it plays a role in the person you become. If you are constantly around negativity, doubt, and low standards, it's only a matter of time before that energy pulls you down. But if you put yourself in an environment of growth, ambition, and excellence, you will rise to that level. Most people don't pay attention to how much their surroundings impact them. They assume that their struggles, their habits, their results are all personal. But the truth is, much of it is influenced by the environment they've chosen to stay in. If the people around you are making excuses, you'll start making excuses. If they settle for average, you'll start thinking average is okay. If they complain about life, you'll start feeling like a victim. But if you put yourself in a room where people expect greatness, where action is the norm, where success is celebrated and mediocrity is rejected, then you have no choice but to level up. The weak version of you thrives in a weak environment. It thrives when you're around people who let you off the hook, who validate your excuses, who keep you comfortable. It thrives when you surround yourself with distractions, mindless entertainment, and negativity. But the strong version of you, that version needs to be in an environment that forces you to grow. It needs to be around people who challenge you, who call you out when you're slacking, who push you to think bigger. Look at your current environment. What kind of conversations are you having? Are they conversations about ideas, growth, solutions, and possibilities? Or are they conversations about problems, gossip, and complaints? What kind of people are you spending time with? Are they inspiring you, pushing you, making you better? Or are they draining you, holding you back, and reinforcing bad habits? What kind of content are you consuming? Are you filling your mind with knowledge, strategy, and inspiration? Or are you feeding it with negativity, distractions, and meaningless noise? The reality is you become what you surround yourself with. If you want to kill that weak version of yourself, you have to cut off the things that feed it. That means distancing yourself from people who bring you down, who don't believe in growth, who keep you stuck in the same cycles. It means eliminating the distractions that keep you from taking action, whether that's social media, toxic relationships, or environments that make it easy to stay. It means being intentional about who and what you allow into your life. Success leaves clues. If you want to become stronger, more disciplined, more successful, study the people who have already done it. Look at how they think, how they operate, what kind of environments they put themselves in. You'll notice that high achievers don't waste time with negative people. They don't entertain excuses. They don't surround themselves with mediocrity. They deliberately create an environment that supports their growth. And the good news is you can do the same. You can choose to upgrade your environment starting today. You can seek out mentors, join groups of like-minded people, listen to podcasts, read books, and put yourself in rooms where excellence is the standard. You don't have to do it alone. One of the fastest ways to change your life is to change who you surround yourself with. It might be uncomfortable at first. It might require letting go of relationships that no longer serve you. It might mean stepping into new spaces where you feel like the smallest person in the room. But that's exactly where you need to be. If you're always the smartest, most successful person in your circle, you're in the wrong circle. Growth happens when you put yourself in environments that challenge you, that force you to step up, that make you think bigger. And it's not just about people, it's about everything in your environment. What does your workspace look like? Is it cluttered, chaotic, and full of distractions? Or is it set up for focus and productivity? What about your daily routines? Are they designed to set you up for success, or are they full of habits that slow you down? Everything around you is either helping you become your strongest self or keeping you stuck in weakness. You have to take control. The moment you commit to building an environment that fuels your growth, everything changes. The excuses disappear because the people around you don't tolerate them. The doubts fade because you're surrounded by belief. The weak version of you dies because it has nothing left to feed on. So take a look around you, be brutally honest about what needs to change, and make the decision today to build an environment that makes success inevitable.